I want to bring in a real patriot, Azra Nomani. She is the Vice President for Strategy and Investigations at Parents Defending Education, where she is the editor of the Indoctrination database and FOIA work. She's also the co-founder of Coalition for TJ, a group of parents and community members in Virginia. She's a former reporter for the Wall Street Journal, co-director of the Pearl Project, and co-founder of the Muslim Reform Movement. This woman has been fighting the good fight for a very long time. Yesterday, she came out with a story that is so important as our FBI and the Department of Justice under Merrick Garland are coming out and looking for the terrorists that are the parents. Her group got a tip that Merrick Garland might have a conflict of interest, and she is with us now to explain. Azra, welcome to the program. Azra, are you there?
Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Good.
great.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your kind words, too, but I was so looking forward to talking to you because you're an investigator, so you know how to follow the money, and I knew that you would get this story and you would understand how important it is.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's go through.
Yes.
His daughter, Merrick Garland's daughter, is married to, what's his name? Tanner.
No, I know. I'm gonna make you go through this.
Okay,
no, I'm gonna make you go through this. This is just another example of how ridiculous it is.
Okay.
So his actual name is Alexander, but he goes by Zan because that's what every nickname is for Alexander, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
So his daughter's name is Rebecca Garland, and the daughter grew up in, the comfortable life of her dad and mom, and went to Yale. And then at Yale, she reconnected with an old childhood acquaintance, Zan, and they got married. And it should have just ended there as a happy, love story.
Yes.
Right. New York Times wedding announcement, the whole thing. And what's in the first paragraph? Of course, that her father, Merrick Garland, attended. And then a few paragraphs later, Zan was a co-founder of a company called Panorama Education.
Panorama Education. That sounds epic. What do they do?
Yeah, it sounds so tame, right? It's just they picked the perfect disguise. It's a perfect Trojan horse. So let me just fast forward to the fact that we now have venture capitalists investing in Panorama Education, so it must be hot.
Yeah.
And one of those investors is a man by the name of Mark Zuckerberg.
Wow.
So why would Mark Zuckerberg be interested in this education company based in Boston by a couple of Yale graduates? Because it is a data mining company. And what Panorama Education does is they use these fancy words called social and emotional learning. So just think about that, combination of words, so bizarre. Social and emotional learning. What does that mean? Well, when my kid was small, it was just learn to have critical thinking and have character and be nice to others. Now they are using it as an excuse to mess with kids' heads. And some of the questions in these, quote, screeners, that's what they're calling their surveys, are things like, are you gender fluid? What's your position on race? Are you happy or are you sad? Literally, parents are not even aware about these surveys.
So here's the thing. If you listen to Megyn Kelly, she kind of talked about this, but she didn't know necessarily what it was. But her child came back home and said, I'm asked if I still feel like I'm a boy, and they do it every week.
Exactly. It's from one company or the other. It is an industry. So Panorama Education is just the tip of the iceberg in this multi-million-dollar industry. And let's be clear about what they are. They're government contractors. They're not just an education company. They're not just like, oh, we're here for child welfare. They are government contractors. And so Merrick Garland's son-in-law is profiting off the backs of our country's children. And,
Okay,
and
so
we're not talking little contracts, millions of dollars.
yeah, let me get some facts here. Fairfax County,
Yes.
Fairfax County Public Schools signed quietly an $1.8 million contract with Panorama Education for their screening, where they ask the students questions whether they feel sad or gender fluid, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
The Panorama Education staff gets status now as school officials, so they have a right to the private student data under federal law.
Yeah, just people need to just absorb what you just said. I mean, it's so dramatic. Contractors are getting status as school officials equal to teachers or principals, school board members, and they are basically data scientists or even data nothings, but just absorbing this information about kids. And Glenn, this is the breaking news headline for you, because I know you love breaking news. $1.8 million was this agreement in June. Nobody even knew about it. They started having board meetings, and they just mentioned, we got COVID money, over the summer. And guess what? We're going to spend it on this screener. So there was this vigilant mom who heard just this mention in a school board meeting, and she asked them, what is this screener? So that's how she got the information about the $1.8 million contract. And then she called us at Parents Defending Education and gave us the tip. But guess what? They then quietly signed another agreement, an addendum in September, raising the number to $2.4 million.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's one school district. One school district. So now
Glenn, that happened in early September, and then within a month, I went to the school board and I protested the wastage of this money. And days later, the School Board Association, summons the FBI. I'm not saying it was because of me, but I know that they know that parents' eyes are on these contracts. And then we got this edict from Merrick Garland to shut us up.
So here's what I want you to know. The federal government is data mining our children. They are asking them. They themselves are allowing contractors funded by Zuckerberg and Merrick Garland's son-in-law and daughter. It's their company. They're going into our school districts in the cover of night with the school board. They are getting this information. They are deeming the people who are processing this information as school officials, so they can have access to all of this and share it with third parties without parental notification or consent.
Yeah, and so then what happened is that we raised questions about it, and then they suddenly announced, there's going to be an opt-out form that parents can sign. But it wasn't available for days. It wasn't even unclear who do you send it to. And then, guess what? Parents started filling it out, and they then started getting emails literally asking, did you make a, quote, mistake? Are you sure you wanted to opt out? As if these parents made a mistake. And
by the way, the opt-out date, the final date is today, right?
Glenn, can you believe that the opt-out day for a school district in Northern Virginia? But
no.
That's how important it is. And the details matter.
Yeah. And I also know if people start looking into their own school board, you're going to find, are there any other companies besides Panorama Education that people should be looking for?
Oh, my gosh, this is so fantastic. So one other little nugget I want to just share with you and your listeners is that Fairfax County's public schools, we have discovered also, shared information on all of the students before a single opt-out form was even presented to parents.
This is evil.
Yeah. So they got the student name, the student ID number, their class, and their school. And everybody needs to remember that the market of children, as any parent knows, they spend a lot of money. We spend a lot of money on them. So this is a big market that that companies want to understand. So let me tell you. So what happened is that this Eagle Eye mom also submitted a FOIA to find out who were the other bidders, because this one, of all things, we actually had other bidders. And I'm going to name some of the companies.
Okay.
They weren't bidders in Fairfax County, but there's a company called Castle, C-A-S-C-L. They are huge in this business.
C-A-S-T-E-L.
C-A-S-E-L.
E-L, Castle, okay.
Yeah, Castle is a big company.
Okay.
Then we have another company that they're all such like strange names that you kind of start forgetting what they are.
Yeah.
But then New York University has a company, and it's their education department. So you just have to look up if there's a contract with New York University. And then we have this other company that is culturally responsive, and so they make it all sound so good.
So
right?
Culturally Responsive is the name of the company?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and I'm going to get you a whole list. So that
Okay,
people
please
can
do,
know.
and I will.
Yes.
I will tweet it out today. If you're in the Fairfax County School District, your opt-out date ends today. You better get on the stick if this is the first time that you've heard about this. This is once again our kids being sold for power and money. And, don't mess with my kids, man. Don't mess with my kids. And this is the kindest thing I could say is Merrick Garland, just this really brilliant guy that should have been on the Supreme Court, just didn't see the conflict of interest. About saying we're going to go after these parents who are standing up against these things with the FBI, when his daughter and son-in-law are making millions of dollars data mining the children in the very counties that he's saying we're going to have to send the FBI into. It's
so what we've
sickening.
What we've done now is yesterday we sent a letter to Senate Commerce Committee to ask for a hearing on this very important issue of big tech data mining our kids. And I hope everybody will support us, like write a letter to your senator or representative, because this matters, because these surveys are then used, I hope everybody understands, as a way to make an excuse to get programs of indoctrination into the schools. Oh, our kids are sad, so we need to have some uplifting anti-racism training. That's how they get their programs in. It's a Trojan horse.
Ezra, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, Glenn, thank you.
If you want to find out more information, go to defendinged.org, defendinged.org. Every parent must be involved.